The Adventures of Tony Maroni, Love Beagle, an American Beagle in Paris. By Rosemary Lynn, Linguistics Inc. Tony Maroni was a brave little beagle. Charming and sage, he was quite regal. Lonely and bored, in search of romance. He packed his bags and moved to France. He rented a flat and bought a beret, taking walks each evening down the Champs-Élysées, eating crepes filled with Nutella. Despite the crowds, he was a lonely fella. Tony visited the Louvre and gazed at the art. He noticed the lovers who ripped at his heart. Upon a bateau mouche on the Seine, Tony reminded himself why he'd come there again. In the city of love, in Paris in France, it was time to go watch the Can-Can girls dance. At the Moulin Rouge, he felt like Lautrec. He had a nice evening and asked for his check. Rising to leave and ready to go, Tony caught sight of Brigitte Guardo. He wasted no time, for he was not shy. He had to meet her, or at least try. She was flattered and thought he was great. She gave him her number, and they set a lunch date. That night, he was restless as he gazed at the moon. He dreamed of seeing her the next afternoon. They were to meet in the park, under the tower. Tony envisioned giving Brigitte a flower. He finally slept and woke with elation. His heart was full of hope and sweet anticipation. He groomed his ears and straightened his vest, determined to look his absolute best. He trotted past cafes and through morning light. The tower ahead was a beautiful sight. Birds sang above as he neared the city center. His paws tapped briskly as he entered a canter. Tony spotted Brigitte as she emerged from the metro. She looked rather chic. Her outfit was retro. As he approached her and walked through the crowd, shots rang out in the air. They were noisy and loud. People were running. They were frightened and screaming. Tony was stunned and thought he was dreaming. Running away in the distance was a man with a gun. Tony instantly knew he was the one. Tony watched the man as he jumped into a car. He knew he must catch him before he got far. Tony ran through the lawn and jumped on a scooter. He sped through the streets in pursuit of the shooter. Brigitte watched Tony as he sped away. With all the commotion, there was no reason to stay. Through alley and market, past cafes and light, he chased the dark figure deep into the night. His paws gripped the handles, his nose in the air, guided by instinct, alert and aware. Through fountains and arcades, over bridges so wide, Tony kept chasing with courage and pride. He zipped past the opera, dashed by Montmartre Hill, determined to stop that villainous thrill. With sirens behind him and courage ahead, he followed the clues, just like the books he had read. The scooter went skidding. The tires let out a yelp. But Tony was clever. He called for some help. The man dropped the weapon, surrendering fast, knowing his getaway would not last. Cheers broke out in the square that night, as Paris applauded this small pup's might. Tony stood tall, with his tail held high, a hero beneath the twilight sky. But through the excitement and all the acclaim, he searched for Brigitte. He called her name. She ran to him quickly, her eyes full of pride. She kissed his cheek and stood by his side. You're not just charming, you're daring and bold. The stories of you will surely be told. And from that day on, across every land, Tony and Brigitte strolled hand in hand, solving new mysteries, chasing each clue, the Beagle adventurer and his bold-hearted crew. So if you're in Paris and hear a faint bark or see a small pup dash through the park, you may have just glimpsed that famous Beagle, Tony Maroni, brave, bright and regal. The end, or just the beginning? Stay tuned for Tony's next great adventure, Tony Maroni and the mystery of the missing macarons.